All right, church family, we're going to give you a tutorial for how you will enter into the building for the safe assembly services. Now, I'm going to ask you to please follow the instructions for how you come into the building for the next few weeks while we meet with the safe assembly services as our policies and procedures. I want to say a word or two about those who perhaps don't feel comfortable in coming out yet. And first of all, we completely respect your decision to make the best decision that you feel you need to make for your family. If you don't feel safe coming out, if you feel like coming to church at this point is too big of a risk and you want to wait a few weeks to see how the services transpire, that's completely fine with us. You can join us online at the 11 o'clock hour. But one of our responsibilities as a church is to minister to our entire flock. So we're trying to provide the best services that we can, whether that would be in-person services or whether that would be coming to you via streaming services each and every night and each and every weekend. What we would ask for you to do is to prayerfully consider which services you ought to be a part of. If you feel safe and you feel comfortable in coming out and complying with the restrictions for the safe assembly services, then please join us at 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock, or 1 o'clock. There'll be a great time. If you don't feel comfortable coming out, you don't yet feel safe, or you want to give it a few weeks and see how it looks, that's completely fine with us as well. Either way, let us maintain a spirit of humility, a spirit of love, and a spirit of unity, thinking of others before we just think of ourselves. If you have a question about whether you should or shouldn't come, here's what you ought to do. First, you ought to make it a matter of prayer. Second, you ought to call your family and ask them if they feel comfortable with you going. And third, you should call one of us here at the pastoral staff team in order to ask what we will be doing on the campus that will see to your safety while you're here. Just a personal word. I've even encouraged my own parents to not go to church yet. They're in the age where they're most vulnerable. They have pre-existing conditions, and it's just not a safe time for them to go yet. And so I've encouraged them, stay home, let their church continue to meet for the next few weeks, see how it goes, and then in a few weeks when they feel a little more comfortable and when I feel a little more comfortable, then I'm encouraging them to go, but not until then. And so I'm trying to lead our organization in this church in that same kind of way. If you don't feel comfortable, stay home and watch online. It'll be great. If you feel comfortable and you don't mind following the restrictions that are put in place, then please come. But let's all operate with a spirit of humility, and let's ask God to bless and use this in spite of ourselves and for His own good and for His own glory. All right, church family, here are the instructions for how you get in the building. What we're asking everyone to park in the north parking lot. There we have each space separated one from the other, so there's plenty of distance between cars. And as you make your way into the building, we're going to ask that you come straight down the Pine Street sidewalk entrance, which is where I'm standing right now. So we're not going to enter through the main hallway of the building like you're used to. We're going to enter through the Pine Street sidewalk. Once we enter here, we're going to see, as we round the corner toward the front lobby, that here is where you'll have your actual check-in procedure, okay? So on the ground, stationed 6 feet apart, are markers that show you where you ought to wait in line before you head into the building. So if someone is in front of you, please mind the distance. If someone is behind you, please make sure that you're physically separating that way as well. As you approach the entry doors, this would be an opportunity for you to be able to get out your phone or your email with the email address on it of the reservation. Once you get here to the doors, you'll show the gentleman here at the doors your reservation, that in fact you are here for this service. This is the right time. Of course, we have 3 services. You could be a part of the 9, the 11, or the 1 o'clock service. Those are the 3 times that you could be here, that you could go through. And then once you're into this area, this is where they'll take your temperature, and they're going to ask you 3 corresponding questions before they allow you to go in, all right? So I'm going to get my mask on here, then they're going to ask me these questions.
Sir, have you had a fever over 100.4 in the last 72 hours without the use of any medication?
No.
Have you currently or in the past 72 hours experienced any symptoms of lower respiratory illness such as cough, shortness of breath, or difficulty breathing?
No.
Have you been tested for the COVID-19 test in the past 72 hours and are waiting for results?
No.
Take your temperature.
So after you answer the questions, they'll take your temperature, then you'll be allowed to go into the building in that way. Once you get into the building, you're gonna notice it's a little bit different than what you might be used to. Even here, we have special indicators on the floor that show you where and how you get in the building. Once you're inside, one of our ushers will greet you right here at the door, and they'll help you to know what you ought to be doing next.
Welcome to our Safe Assembly service. This way, and our ushers will seat you.
Alrighty, thank you. Here we go. We're gonna head this side. We have hand sanitizers properly stationed on both sides. What you need to know is the building isn't going to be open for access like it normally would be, at least not yet. It will be, just not at this time.
Good morning, welcome to First Baptist Church.
Thank
Welcome to our Safe Assembly service. Go ahead and follow me. I'm going to take you to your seat. Okay?
Alrighty, thank you. Once you get inside the building, if you want to give your offering in person, stationed on the back walls is we have the offering boxes, which is where you can drop off your tithe or your offering or your mission support if you would like. Of course, you can also give online. If you're not going to do that, you can make your way forward with the usher and he'll direct you to your seat. Every reservation has a seat assigned for that person. All the seats are properly physically distanced, so that way we don't have any personal contact with each other.
Take the seat right here with the briefcase.
Alrighty, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, here's what you need to know for how we will dismiss from the service. The ushers are going to come forward and they're going to dismiss us one row at a time in order that we can properly physically distance ourselves from each other. Now, on the dismissal, it's going to be a little different than what we're normally used to because we generally like to hang out in the lobby, talk, have some fellowship time in the fellowship hall, or even have a meal on campus. None of that will be allowed right now during the Safe Assembly services. Of course, these masks make it very difficult in order to talk to you. So the sooner we can get outside and take this off, the better. I trust that this weekend will be a beneficial service for you. I look forward to seeing you here, and we're going to have a great time together. God bless, church family. We'll see you on Sunday.